The turning point of tonight's main event could be summarized by looking back to the year 1974, where many great movies and some not so great things were occurring in the world, but you could just look at Sheriff Bart and remember that iconic line, "Hey, where are the white women at?" And oh my god, Aubrey Edwards has been pulled in for us. No, she's out cold, somebody help her. And then all the fans were looking, and a mixture of booing and frustration and ready to rush the ring. Some were saying, "I say you, she dead." I'm John Rentham with my review of AEW Dynamite from the Sacramento Memorial Coliseum. We're on the road to Revolution. We're out of Australia. And apparently they're just going to be on the West Coast quite a bit in the next couple months, because they're actually going to be running Dynasty, or Dynasty as it were, in Vancouver. I won't be going because I don't feel like making the trip. But apparently they're going to be running Dynamite and Collision, a double taping, in Everett a few days after. As of right now, tickets have not gone on pre-sale, but they will possibly by the time you guys see this review. So I may go, I may not. It depends on if a friend wants to go. That being said, let's jump on in it. I did like the setup. I did like the fact that the crowd was pretty loud. Excalibur, Danielson, Schiavone on commentary. And I got to be perfectly honest, the commentary is one of the biggest issues I have with AEW. Like, there are some good commentators. Excalibur cannot be a lead commentator. Danielson is yelling too much, but it is what it is. So we get TBS title pre-tapes. Odd they have only 3 people in a 4-way, because I don't know who the 4th person is because nobody knows her. And then Omega cuts a promo. And then Orange Cassidy has a replacement partner for tonight's tag match as Tomohiro Ishii. Anyway, so Jon Moxley took on Mark Davis. Mark Davis fisted the post too hard. That's why you're supposed to fist in the right places so you don't end up breaking something. I do not speak from experience that you know about. Moxley won. Let's just move on from that. Look, I'm not paying attention to anything that Death Riders are involved in. Until Khan learns to move on from this bullshit, no. They were part of so many bad television segments and so many bad matches on TV and pay-per-view. I don't know. I don't want to fucking see any of them. Hangman vows to ruin MJF's future. And then FTR brought a kid out in a wheelchair. I'm sorry, that's Stokely. The Bucks then showed up and kicked them all. And you can cheer for the Bucks if you want. It is stale, it is boring, and I'm kind of off FTR. They're great in the ring, don't get me wrong. Brody King and Bandito, almost said Brodito, together they are Brodito, are backstage. Brody King is just looking for a fight, and he wants a fight because apparently he is a version of Finlay. Speaking of which, David Finlay apparently is heading to WWE. There were loud fuck ice chants from the crowd that was watching this. So guess what? It ain't fucking going away, and everybody needs to keep chanting it. And everybody needs to make sure that everybody knows that wants to support this bullshit. You're a fucking asshole. You're a fucking piece of shit. It's fuck ice. It's fuck Trump. It's fuck everybody in that administration. So there you go. The loud fuck ice chants. That was great. So Willow then took on Mina Shirakawa as well as Megan Bayne and Marina Shafir. It's a TBS 4-way. I will say that this match wasn't as egregious as I would have thought, but Shafir fucking sucks. She's the absolute shits. She did the slowest 619 that I have ever fucking seen. And the crowd was into it, and look, everybody got a chance to shine. I still need to see something from Megan that proves she's ready to go up into that upper echelon. There was a German off the top where Megan almost landed on her fucking head, so hopefully she's alright. Mina then briefly took over, but then got rolled up out of nowhere. So there we go. Willow versus Mina Shirakawa, possibly Revolution? I wouldn't mind that. Strictly for wrestling purposes. How dare you accuse me of any other nefarious means? So, Grand Slam Australia recaps. If you want to know my thoughts, check out my review. The producer made an appearance. And a brief mention of Kerwin Selfies, I believe. I always screwed up his last name. He was a WWE director and passed away, 75 years old. He was part of some documentaries, like I think it was like the original like backstage thing for WrestleMania 9, and I think even the true story of WrestleMania, which wasn't the true story of WrestleMania, but I digress. Danielson was a little choked up because he had worked with him And Shivani even worked with him during his brief year in WWE. That was nice for them to pay tribute to a man that meant a lot to professional wrestling. He was certainly a much better director than Kevin Dunn could have ever hoped to have been. And then MJF and Hangman Skrull had a face-to-face. I will stop calling him Hangman Skrull when he stops associating with people that are as creepy as Marty. So, they faced off at Sydney, or had a face-to-face at Sydney, and you know what? There were some good lines, but I'm kind of over this. I'll say a bunch of stuff while you stand there. You say a bunch of stuff while I stand there. MJF then is upset that Paige owns 2 wins over him. That you crumbled in your 2 reigns as champion. To be fair, MJF is only a few months into his, and actually, with this stipulation, could possibly be losing it. He says, you're all out of bullets. 1 bullet left. Hey, laughing boy. So, March 15th is his birthday. They pretty much are telegraphing that he is not going to win this. Paige got off a few lines, but I'm sorry, his delivery is stagey. It feels very rehearsed. And MJF is a lot like him. That other people want the title, we need the title. And basically, it is going to be Texas death. If MJF agrees to that, Hangman will not challenge for the championship if he loses. So basically, they're going back to Full Gear 2019 with Cody and I believe Jericho. And I'm going to say right now, I want MJF to have a longer reign, but Hangman better win that damn championship if they're going to go with this stipulation. Because I do not see Hangman just floating around and doing whatever. I mean, what's he going to do? Go to Japan, challenge for the IWGP title? Win the Ring of Honor Championship? Bandito's the current champion. They have backed themselves into a fucking corner. So, hate to say it, but Hangman's got to win this. Because otherwise, what the fuck? I mean, like, if he loses, how are they going to get around this? Unless MJF just constantly cheats and this kind of stuff. But you can't really cheat in a Texas death match. So, if they end up having that. And I think they will end up having that because Hangman will basically force his hand. And then we have a Death Riders backstage promo. Then Orange Cassidy and Ishii faced off against Gabe Kidd and Clark Connors. And I think Chuck Connors would have been better in this match. Ishii may have tore his hamstring. Hopefully not the case. It might be time to hang it up. Because he's got a weight around his neck. And that weight is just continuing to carry him down. Darby kidnapped Gabe Kidd, hopefully to get him out of this company for good. And Ishii won with a brainbuster despite apparently having a torn hamstring. Andrade was dressed like he was going to take down the Beer Baron. And the Callis family cut a promo. And then Hook is recruiting for the Ops in the States while Shibata and his new brain are over in Japan to recruit the Ops. Samoa Joe's out with an injury. I hate to say it, if he's out with a concussion, it might not be the worst idea for Samoa Joe to think about retirement pretty soon and just retirement from the ring and just do commentary. God forbid they need a commentator. It's actually good. And then the Brawling Birds, a.k.a. Jamie Hayter and Alex Windsor. And I didn't notice until it was pointed out to me to look for it. It looks like Windsor has cut weight, and I'm not saying that there was anything wrong with her before. Nothing at all. It just looks like she used some time off to tone up or whatever. Maybe she had an injury and couldn't train as hard. I don't know. All I know is that her and Hayter do work well as a team. And face off against Viva Van and Becca. I think that's her name. It was fine. Viva Van's not all that bad in the ring. It was a bit of a longer squash, I think, than it needed to be. And I think it was only like 3.5 minutes, but it felt longer. But Becca ended up doing a nice double stunner, but then got laid out with a heart attack variation. Backstage, Statlander is apparently not cleared to compete, but here's Thunder Rosa, who's back and has not been seen since All in Texas. I have missed Thunder Rosa. What a fucking talent. I just worry with the amount of injuries that she has had, and I respect the hell out of her, and I know she trains hard. What I'm able to see on her YouTube channel with her blog, she's keeping up, she's working hard, she's doing good stuff for her community. I just wish her nothing but the best, but I really just hope that this can be consistent, because any more injuries, and maybe something's going to have to be thought about, maybe step into the side. Because I want somebody to have a great quality of life once they want to step away from the ring. That's just because I respect Thunder Rosa. But I'm happy she's going to be back. She's going to be faced off against Julia Hart on Collision. That apparently is going to be live in Texas. That's a choice. I think they said El Paso. El Paso or Corpus Christi. I'm not sure. But that being said, good. I also could listen to her speaking English and Spanish all day. Kevin Knight with Speedball Mike Bailey took on the Meat Mortos. Frank the Lawyer, a.k.a. the Beast of Monet, is back. And Kevin Knight is very good. So is Meep, but Meep always loses. He's a lawyer, Chance. That was kind of creative, I'll say that much. Meep did a nice twisting dive. He can work. He's not bad. He just always loses. And a DDT spike and UFO splash. 1, 2, 3. I didn't have a problem with this match. It just was kind of there. And then the demand a trios title shot at Collision. By the way, Ricochet is a national champion. I keep having to remind myself that title exists. So Kenny Omega and Swerve Strickland. Or Shane Swerve Strickland. Well, Swerve. We'll just call him Swerve. But they face off in the main event. And look, there are very few firsts or very few, bullets left in the chamber that AEW in particular can fire. I mean, WWE's pretty much exhausted their load. They're just coasting at this point, and not coasting very far with the Mania ticket sales. AEW has very few bullets left in the chamber and very few things they can do when they stuff they haven't overdone. Despite a couple things I am going to mention, this is probably one of the best main events they put on in a while. There were holy shit chants right at the bell. They kept one-upping each other. Swerve was much more heelish, to be honest. Swerve has pretty much always been a fucking heel. After losing the championship and then coming back, he has basically been a goddamn heel. He hit a Fosbury flop variation, but it looks like he dug his knees into Omega's back because of miscommunication. Then Omega did a moonsault off the barricade after catching himself. Thankfully, he was okay. Hit a moonsault outside. Looks like a basketball court, like the hardwood underneath. Chops, counters. He does the you can't escape, rolls through, and then hit a nice moonsault. Kenny was moving, a step slower. The man also set himself up for, failure, like breaking down. I mean, as far as like a quality of life, he set himself up for failure because he's at least, 39, 40, something like that. And the way he worked, it was going to catch up to him, diverticulitis or not. So he's got a few matches left where he can perform like this. I really would be very surprised if he makes it past Wembley this year. And if he manages to make it, I think he's going to face off against a champion in Vancouver, because Canada, which, part of me wishes I could be there, but also I don't really want to go to Vancouver. Sorry. But I think that Omega has until Wembley this year. If he can extend it till next year, great. I just would be very surprised. So, a drop off the top. It looks like Swerve hit his head pretty hard. A knee for 2. The crowd is up for this. 2 knees. Third knee's caught. Swerve ended up hitting, trying to hit a cop killer, or cop killer, instead of the Vertibreaker or, the Gringo Killer that Homicide called it. Shane Helms did it the best, in my personal opinion. And I know it's called the Cop Killer because Swerve did that when he was at Defy and was doing it on the Indies, and it worked better. So a Snapdragon on the apron. Why? Why the apron spots? And then a German counter to the floor where Swerve then hit a suplex. So they're doing some good stuff here. And then a 450 for 2. And then another Snapdragon. And then it looked like, Omega's got it's set up. Boom, bang, he's going to do that. And then Swerve inadvertently, he obviously pulled Aubrey in the way, and Omega hit her. I'm going to say this much. I was there when Aubrey took a kick from Phoenix, when the Lucha Bros came through Defy briefly. Actually got to meet Penta, he's very nice. And The crowd booed heavily. The clip's out there. The full match might be out there, but the whole point is, we were ready to rush the goddamn ring. You don't hurt our Aubrey. And they booed heavily, even though they're not anywhere near Washington State. That's one of the few things that they have not done. They haven't bumped referees a bunch, and they haven't bumped Aubrey much at all. So it means something. Don't overdo it. Do it once a year, maybe once every 18 months, and it'll mean something, better. And Aubrey took that bump like a champ. My only issue is that it took a while for a second referee to come out. And that's an industry-wide problem. So, we get a house call. No ref. A stomp on the apron. Swerve then exposes the buckle and hits Omega's jaw into the exposed, pulley part. This does not look good the way I'm doing it. And then he hits a stomp, a second ref for 2. I think it was Paul Turner. And then Omega came back. He hit a trigger. He hit a Poison Rana. And then he went for the One Wing Angel, but nope, house call, big pressure, 1, 2, 3. And there you go. And then Swerve attacked Omega again. Took the chain from Nana, threw the referee out. Well, actually, he tossed the referee first. And then hung Omega up by the chain and everything. And I have not seen a hanging go that wrong since housekeeping found David Carradine. So there you go. See you in about 8 weeks, Omega. Actually, see you in about 6 weeks or a month. We'll see you in time for Dynasty, because I would be very surprised if he missed a chance to be at a show in Canada. So there you go. That was what it was. In the future, I'm going to continue to review whatever I want to review, and I'll stop when I feel like it. So you'll see stuff until I just say, you know what, once we get to like late spring, early summer, I might be taking some time off, do some stuff around the house, just maybe, take hikes, and maybe not worry so much about this stuff. But at least that main event made it worth it. Nevertheless, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Ritland. Until we go back into the closet of jokes for the hanging of David Carradine once again. If you're into that, just make sure you have a safe word. And his safe word was, happy trails to you.